Today on really cool eBay finds, I got an Xbox 360 Xenon that came from a Microsoft Repair Center with a manufacture date of 2006. I'm not sure if that's the reprinted label from the original serial or not, but this console is still sealed from the refurbishment process. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and go from there. I did think it'd be kind of cool to actually show what else the seller included. So it's the original documentation that came with the console when it was shipped back to the user, showing the controller pairing process. This was likely a replacement console for someone's Red Ring of Death console. Take screenshots if you want to go ahead and see what this was at different points in time. And for our first time powering it on, looks like it was either a BenQ or a light on drive on it. So that was definitely upgraded from what was originally shipped with it. Based on the sound, it sounds more like a light on. As we'd see, it's on the Blade's dashboard. Let's see what version it's on. Given that this is Marketplace Blade, this is at least a 5000 series or 6000 series dashboard, but given that it went just full screen, it is definitely a 6000. And we can see we are on dashboard 6717. Pretty cool find. Just for giggles, I did go ahead and find this launch hard drive. So let's go ahead and pop that on this console. I say no, don't update. And if we go ahead and sign to the profile on this drive, you'll see that we have a good old legacy Halo theme. Happy days. So I just actually want to go ahead and take this console apart because I did notice it's got the newer warranty seal. It does have a light on drive that did not ship at all on a console with a manufacture date of 2006. And given that I was on dash 6717, it was definitely serviced in at least 2008. So let's go ahead and take this console apart and let's see if it's either got a patched 832 GPU or if it's got an Elpis GPU. Because if it's an Elpis, then this board technically isn't a Xenon and it's actually an Elpis. So we should also see then a 7000 series CB on it as well. Wanted to capture this as I was taking it apart. Yeah, one clip broken off here. As you can also see, there's a lot of dirt in this console. You can definitely tell it's refurbished. But man, when Microsoft took this thing apart, man, they did not take it apart nicely. So on the journey of figuring out if this is an Elpis or a patched 832, we do see that we have a October 2008 manufactured DVD drive. So the console's on 6717, so it's at least October 2008 or newer when it was refurbed. You can also see that the original Xenon RF module is different, and that it also has kind of the later version where it doesn't have a full cutout here of the CPU heatsink and the newer Type 2 GPU heatsink. Surprisingly, given that it is a Xenon motherboard, there are no leaking capacitors. So let's go ahead and take this apart and let's figure out what's going on. So I just got this console apart, and one of the things that I think is kind of cool is, definitely, this was a GPU swap. A lot of the initial Xenons didn't actually ship with this glue that they had around the chip and IC. But one of the things I thought was kind of funny is there's actually a little bit of the goo that they peeled off of the board from the old GPU that was on it. It was kind of still stuck over here next to it, and you can still see there's a little bit of thermal paste next to the CPU. But newer heat sinks, you can see like they had some tape on this and later removed it. But let's find out if this is 832 or Elpis. Given the size, I'm gonna guess probably a 832 that's been patched. So we got the thermal paste off, and we can go ahead and zoom in here on the GPU, and we can see that this is a patched A32 chip on this console. So this is not an Elpis, it is still a Xenon that has a new GPU that is not susceptible to the Red Ring of Death. It has a high TG underfill between the silicon and the substrate itself. So this should be one of the most reliable Xenons, at least, that can at least even go back to 1888. Next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to put some lamprey headers on here. And we're going to go ahead and dump the NAND, and I'm just kind of curious what the CB is and other portions. I also want to see what the LDV is and just kind of see how many updates this console has been through. Big thing about these refurb consoles is that you typically end up having these devices manufactured as a Type 1 key vault, and later on they're replaced with a Type 2 key vault after they've been sent for refurbishment. So I'm kind of curious as to what actually lives in this console. So let's get those soldered up and go from there. Alright, so we're over here at the PC. We've got our lamprey headers soldered up to the board. I just like doing that for my own personal consoles. And we're going to go ahead and hook up our NAND reader. Got our power plugged in. Let's go ahead and read the NAND. Interestingly enough, we can see that it's a exploitable CB should we wish to JTAG it. I'm not interested in that. We can see it's -6717 with an LDV of 6, so you know this is a used CPU. This was not originally, this was not swapped during the refurbishment process. What's interesting is that you can tell this was a brand new NAND image that was built for this console because there's nothing in CF patch slot 1. So it wasn't like it was a update, you know, a console update that happened previously from, let's just say, 6683 or 6690 and then went to 6717. This is a brand new manufacturing images. So without even getting the CPU key, I can pretty much almost guarantee that this is going to be a Type 2 KV, given that they built a brand new NAND image. The Type 2 KV is hashed with the CPU key. So pretty much you can't change anything with it or transfer it to another console while in retail mode. As an added bonus, I just did a quick little JTAG install. It is not staying on this board. I want this board to be stock. But I definitely want to go ahead and make a backup of the key vault and everything else on it. So let's go ahead and boot this. I get a Zell image written into this and get it booted up to get the CPU key. Just we're going to get the CPU key out this console. So let's go ahead. I actually need to reset that. And then let's go ahead and power on this machine. I don't have a fans or ring of light hooked up, but we can see our power brick is green. And let's see if we get Zell. Look at that, we got Zell running. And so here in a second we'll get our CPU key and we'll take a look and see what key vault type that we have. Again, betting Type 2, but might as well just take a look and see. But as we can see, it is a Type 2 KV, and it is paired with a Light-On 7485 firmware DVD drive. I also wanted to show this. This is after removing the JTAG wiring off the console. You can see that unless you're like really looking close, you really wouldn't even know that it was ever even installed. You can see some solder still in the copper for those 2 points. But I'm all about ensuring that consoles that I want to keep stock are kept as stock as possible, while also kind of making things that make it easier in case I ever do anything with this in the future, such as adding the lamprey headers. Just wanted to show the inside of this console one more time before we go ahead and pop the disk drive in and put the console back together. Got this console back assembled, and we're going to go ahead and pop it back on. Just wanted to show. Wouldn't even know the thing was taken apart. Got the warranty seal still intact. Alright, so we have the console back together. We're going to go ahead and do our final test. See, disk drive fully working. And the console's booting up. And you can see now with the hard drive connected, we are getting our Blades dashboard with the Halo theme that came with the original hard drive. So yes, even though it wasn't broken, it is functioning properly. It's a Xenon that is going to last a very long time, given that it does have a patched high-TG A32 GPU. So this console, it's going to be on the shelf for a little bit, but I'm kind of thinking of different ideas and things to do with it going forward. But yeah, I'm very happy with this console. It was a great eBay find for my friend, and I'm glad I was able to go ahead and explore this. If you're interested in anything else about the Xbox 360, please go ahead and leave a comment below, or check out xenonlibrary.com, where Octo450, my good friend Josh, goes ahead and talks about all the different hardware revisions, different things about software, and there's a lot of more than just Josh contributing to that. So a huge shout out to everybody that does help make Xenon Library a possibility, and so forth. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.